Kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's a very gloomy morning out here on the reserve, but that won't put us down, and this is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live. Good morning, and like I said, it's a little bit gloomy out here today, but we are hot on the heels of a lioness that was seen at the Djuma pan. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me this morning we've got David. Now, we're searching for this lioness that was spotted earlier on this morning, but now we've lost the tracks. We were hot on the heels of this lion, but it seems as though she's taken a couple of shortcuts, cutting through the bush as the lions do. And I can tell you that it looks like this kudu has definitely not seen a lion. It looks way too relaxed. And well, I also didn't hear any kudu alarm calling it earlier, but I did hear the Wildebeest and the Impala shouting, so hopefully they'll give us a clue as to which direction that lioness moved. Hello, little one. This is not a fully grown kudu either. It's a young female. So I wonder where the rest of her family has gone. Look at the little oxpecker running underneath its stomach, fetching all the parasites. Not wasting a moment today, getting on breakfast very, very early. Now, we don't really have to worry too much about this kudu being on its own. Family is probably just a bit further into the thicker vegetation, and you can see clearly how difficult it would be to spot the rest of them, seen as though the brush has greened up nicely after the rain. Oh, you've got 2 oxpeckers now. Oh, no, she didn't like that. It's just amazing how these animals allow these oxpeckers to get into any orifice. Oh, there we go. You can see the rest of the gang at the back, just behind her head. I actually saw one of the other kudu just shake their heads. You can see a little bit of movement just behind her top left ear. That's her right ear, David. But you can see them, they're just through there. But that's good. That's good to know that they are there. But let's carry on. Let's see if we can catch up to this lioness. Though I'm not sure where she's gone to. Now, it's good news for us. Hopefully the rest of the pride is around as well. I think, David, should we just go and check the Balanites junction? We'll go around there, have a look, and see if she maybe just didn't cut through and jump onto a big game path, maybe use some of those networking systems we were using when we were walking in the morning. There's some lovely game paths that cut through this big drainage system, so hopefully by the time we get to that junction, she would have popped out conveniently for us. But we're going to carry on heading in that direction. And I know Brent was going to try and follow up on the leopards from yesterday afternoon, so let's go say good morning to him.
Morning, and welcome to a beautiful morning here in the African bushveld. My name is Brent Smith. I have my very good friend Viam on camera with me today, and we're in search of Queen Karula and cubs. So Queen Karula, the dominant leopard, female leopard in this area. Her cubs were hiding in this little river, on the edge of this little river system last night. We've checked where they were, no sign of them. So we're looking for the beautiful pug mark of a leopard and trying to figure out which way they went. Of course, they could still be in that area somewhere. So if we have no luck, I will go take a walk around there. Now, it's not uncommon for the leopards, when they're left by their mother, to move up to 500 meters away from that position. But we do want to get a general direction if they have moved. So I heard Taxon from Djuma saying he had tracks of just Karula to the west here. So if she did catch and kill something, it's possible she could have taken the cubs this route. But we went to the area we think she might not have gone first to rule out the possibility of her going that way. Now, it's a little bit grey this morning, that's why I'm going really slowly, because it does make it a little bit more difficult to see tracks. If any of you are new, if you see my head hanging over like this, it means I'm studying my morning newspaper. And remember, of course, we are 100% live from the African bush, so you are also able to ask us questions and interact with us, and you can do that by using the hashtag #SafariLive on Twitter, or you can pop us an email to questions@WildEarthTV. Now, little Impala, what have you spotted? Are you just being cautious, or have you actually seen something? I think you're just being cautious.
A little bit back, there's a canoe.
A little bit back?
There's a wildebeest.
Oh! Shall we forward or back? Oh, there's a canoe as well. Hello, canoe, the lonely canoe who's hanging with the Impararas. Oh, he's going to have a jog. Oh, jumpity jump. Where are all your lady friends? Has the grass not got long enough for them to visit you yet? So that's a male wildebeest. Now, in this part of Africa, unlike East Africa, where you have the great migration, the wildebeest males will live solitary and defend an area of good grazing, and the females will have small local migrations between the different groups of males. Okay. This is becoming very interesting, because we haven't seen a single track yet. Could Karula still be away? Could Hosana and Shangile still be playing in that area around the little water holes that are on that road we found them last night? So we are going to double, triple check. And what I mean by that is, in case the leopards decided to walk through the bush next to us and then join up onto the road, I'm just going to go very slowly down here. Okay. Just double checking. Now, what I'm really hoping to do is find them in a tree, because it means they've got a kill and they might be around for a bit longer. Quite nice to have a bit of cloud cover after the heat of yesterday. I must admit, Hosana and Shongile chose a wonderful spot for themselves, but it wasn't so wonderful for Dave and myself as we sat in the burning sun. But I'd rather sit in the burning sun next to leopards than be stuck in city traffic any day of the week. Now, sometimes when you can't find any tracks, you have to start thinking like a leopard and do a bit of educated guessing. And the longer you stay in an area and the more you work with the animals here, the better you get at that educated guessing. Now, in my many years in the bush, I've noticed certain things. Some people have that educated guess and some people don't, and it's not to say that they don't know the bush and whatnot. It's almost an instinctual thing, in my opinion. Okay, this is another one of Karula's favorite little crossing points. So We've got tracks of a hippopotamus, tracks of an impala. Tracks of a guinea fowl. Morning, James. James says he knows there's an age difference, but what is the size difference between Hosana and Vutomi, the two young male leopards we saw yesterday? Well, Vutomi on the sunrise safari and Hosana on the sunset safari. So I'm just trying to remember now. Vutomi is about 14 months, 15 months, around there, whereas Hosana is just over 10 months. And I would say it's quite misleading when you see them apart and whatnot, but I'd say Vutomi is quite a bit bigger. Nkanyeni is a bigger female than Karula. She is taller than Karula, so that could be why Hosana looks so much bigger. But I would say it's not too much difference, but I mean, Hosana is getting quite big, but I would say he's probably got 20 pounds or so of weight on them, and it's going to be interesting to see once they get to sort of that 18-month mark. You should be able to see the difference quite a lot. Maybe take a little stroll around, see if they are not still hiding inside the drainage line. And here all we've got is impala and zebra tracks. But I'm going to keep staring at the sand while we do that. Let's go see how Taylor's lion tracking is going.
So we found some more lion tracks, and I have a suspicion that these lions are in the drainage system between Rebecca's and Quarantine open area. So I'm going to do a final loop around Quarantine from sort of the most southwestern road, I suppose you could call it, that runs on the edge and looks down into the drainage. And if we don't get anything there, well, then I'm going to have to go for a walk, because their tracks are not anywhere here, and we're about to come up to Philemon's cut line and then head on to Philemon, through Philemon's dip and back up towards Quarantine. So there's a good chance that the reason why that lioness went to go and have a drink is maybe they have made a kill. We haven't been seeing too many buffalo though. All the herds are sort of split up now, as you know. So it could be anything that they maybe could have killed. But those are my suspicions. But maybe you can help, because I know some of you are watching and I'm sure you got a view of that lioness. Did she have a full belly, or did she look a little bit thin? I can obviously only make an educated guess. So if she did have a full belly, I'd really like to know, and you can hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or you can send us an email, questions@WildEarthTV, and that would be much appreciated to help us and to solve the mystery of where these lions have gone to. But we're going to do a loop, like I said. Let me just check that there isn't anything out here. Luckily the sand is so nice and soft, so it's very, very, very easy to actually see them. Nope, nothing here. Sorry, Louise, your questions aren't coming through very clearly. I don't know, David, can you hear them very nicely? I can just hear. So it seems as though there's something wrong with my mic. or So I can hear Louise when she says words like comms test, because I know that's what she's asking. But every now and then it's a strange noise buzzing in my ear, so I shall try and get to the questions in a moment. Let's try to turn that down. Just play around with the volume buttons. Sometimes that helps a little bit. Let's try this again. I can hear now. There we go. All I had to do was turn the volume down a little bit to avoid the noise. It sounded like Louise was actually a robot. For a moment there, I was a bit concerned. But Tintin, there we go. You would like to know, do the lions believe that myself, the driver, and the vehicle are one unit? Now, there's a lot of sort of myth about this, because one of the things we are told and we are taught when we start as guides and we give safety briefings before we take, well, guests out on safari for the first time, we have these guidelines to try and obviously keep you as safe as possible. And one of the things we are told to say is to always remain seated, or keep your arms in the vehicle, because if you stand up, you'll break the solid silhouette of the vehicle, and then the animal will be able to pick you out as an individual. You also show your human figure, and they're quite scared of that. So I don't know, I think animals are a little bit more intelligent than that. I think they know what we are. We smell like humans, we sound like humans. The difference is that we're not behaving like humans in these vehicles, because most of the interaction that these animals had hundreds of years ago was people on foot. And of course, as you know, when the settlers came in, and even the indigenous people that were living here, of course, they were hunting the various animals, whether for meat or for trading along the way, especially if they were the settlers. And so it's taken 30 years for these animals to become relaxed in the vehicle. I don't know if they think that we're one unit. I just think that when they see us in these vehicles, and specifically in this area, they don't see us as normal humans. And even when we're walking around on foot, yes, they're nervous of us, but obviously hunting hasn't gone on in an area like this for many, 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 many years. So, yeah, I suppose you could say they think of us as one unit. Maybe they think the vehicle keeps them safe from us. I don't know. Can you see something there, Darby? We're right here we can look straight into this drainage line. So this is what we're looking for. You can see there's a couple of gaps along this sort of southernmost road looking straight down into the drainage system. And this is what we're going to be scanning for. We're going to be looking for tracks crossing straight over the road and heading down into this little narrow gully, I suppose you could also call it. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take it very easy though, because we only saw one female going down to the dam to have a drink. So she's only going to leave one set of tracks, and crossing straight across the road, they could be quite tricky to see. So we need to make sure we take it easy and keep scanning. Thank you, Chris. So Chris, you said that the lioness was looking quite lean. She didn't look like she had a full belly at all. So that makes it a little bit more tricky now. But thank you so much for that update. They have to be in here, because we've got their tracks coming from the west, moving sort of north. Just make sure I don't miss anything. David, you can't see anything on the quarantine itself. No, we're looking. Hang on, who have we got here? And you'll see me, I'll wind off of the road every now and then, don't worry. I really am just checking for tracks. It's not because I'm a terrible driver, though my mother might disagree. I don't like driving in the cities. I prefer driving out here. But she also doesn't drive with me anymore. The last time I think she drove with me on a regular basis was when I was getting my learner's license. So that would explain it. Rightio, it seems as though this lioness has got the upper hand on us, but we'll get her, we'll find her. But we're going to need a bit of time. I'm probably going to go jump off a vehicle at the last tracks I saw coming from the dam and do a bit of walking. But let's jump back on board with Brent and see, well, let's hope he's having, oh, hang on, take it back. David's just said take it back. That sounds like it's a song, David. Okay, David's going to tell me when to stop. He spotted something. He's a lot higher up than I am, which is really handy. Okay, I see what you're looking at. Can you see it through that gap? Yep. Not yet. Go forward. Please, 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 please. Winner, chicken dinner. David, you get a high five for that? Yes! There they are. Can you believe it? That's exactly what we're looking for. So like I said, David is sitting so much higher up than I am. He's got a much better view than what I do down and below. And that's where, if you go on a safari, don't think that you're just in and the guide and the tracker have to spot everything, because you've got the best spot, especially if you're sitting on the back row. You can see everything because the vehicles are all sort of layered, and as the seats get further and further back, the seats get higher. And I can't tell you how much of an advantage you have if you've got height on your side. Well, that is the easy part now that we found them. David, yes. How on earth are we going to get in there? I think we're going to have to go across to Rebecca's and come in from that side. So what I'm doing now, and you can have a look, is I'm just checking on my map exactly where we are, so you can come and have a look here. No. So you see, we're over there, and the lions are basically between this road, Rebecca's, and over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to take a little pin. Let's do it very quickly. I'll show you what I'm going to do. We need to move this to about there. We'll drop a pin. Place mark number 9. The rest all birds' nests that I've found. And we're going to head across back to Rebecca's and see if we can find those lions. Now, I'm going to send you off to Brent because I suspect I'm going to have to do a lot of bundu bashing this morning.
Well, we thought we heard something, but I think it might have been my tummy, Vim. I thought I heard that of a leopard cub playing, and I think it was my tummy. No, I'm only joking. My tummy is making noise, but this is where they were last night, around this little pan here. They were sleeping in the shade. So I just thought, let's stop here for a second and we'll listen, because they could be harassing a poor sister killer. Anything we can hear. We've got ground hornbills calling in the distance. Doo 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 doo. Let's have a quick look just behind here. Good morning, Woodlands Kingfisher. Now, I've actually got a pair that are nesting right outside my bedroom window, and they tend to get a little bit confused. So they had a massive chirring session at about 3 a.m, which obviously, when I immediately thought it must be quite close to time to get up, I had another 45 minutes to nap. Let's have just a quick look down towards the edge of the river here. Naughty gardenia. Well, actually, naughty elephants for pushing down the gardenia. There's a couple of big termite mounds, which should always be spots where little leopard cubs would like to hang out. The elephants have pushed down a lot of trees in this area. Lots of good spots to hide. Just have a quick look down here. Also, there's some... Oh, I hear the alarm calls of a sister killer. I do hear, or maybe it's the alarm calls of a redback shrike. Chit, 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 chit. Let's try and have a look into this. These thickets here. Can you hear that? Tick, 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 tick. I spot something. It's somewhere around here. Just trying to make sure. Trying to find a way through. What do you think, Vim? I think that's them that's being alarmed at. Now, of course, it's the thickest spot of the whole area. There's my tummy growling at us again. Okay, I'm going to take a quick walk in here and see if there's alarming at those little leopard cubs or something else. While I do that, let's go see how close Taylor is to the Nkuhumas.
We're not quite there yet, but we're almost there. So you're going to now join us on the mission of trying to find the best route into these lions. Now I've pulled up my cellular device again. I just want to have a look if we're getting close to where we need to go. Why have I got 2 markers there? Number 5. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. Now I don't know what I've done. I've pressed buttons. Let's just press OK, close. No, go away. Okay, we've still got a little bit of a way to go. Right? Probably a couple of 100 meters still before we get to in line on the other side of the drainage system where we saw the rest of the lions laying. And David, I don't know about you, I only saw 2 lionesses. I didn't see any more, but I definitely did see some cub tracks earlier this morning further down on Rebecca's Road. And we did see them with their heads flat on the ground, but I don't blame them because they've done quite a walk now from Arathusa. So they must all be a little bit on the tired side. I was just laughing with David now. It's quite funny. We were talking about how so important it is for guests to get involved when they're on the vehicle and to spot things. And for some bizarre reason, all my guests always used to get into a serious competition, and I never used to instigate it, I can promise you that. But it would become a competition as to which couple or which family could spot the most animals. And I love it. I'm like, oh, you think you saw something cool? Reverse back and then get to the spot where they can see it, and then they say stop, 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 and then they look with the binoculars, and then they go, it was just a termite mound, and then the rest of the vehicle will start giggling. But you sit there and I'm like, I've done that so many times, spotted logs and called them lions, or big trees that have been pushed over and called them elephants. And it's payback, because then the other couple or the other family would also do something even worse and even more embarrassing, and then we'd all laugh at them too. Okay, we're coming up close now. I think we're just going to go in over here. Hello, Lindsay. So you have congratulated Dave on his fantastic spotting. Well done, David. It was a good job. I overlooked that. I thought, and I'm going to show you what I thought it was, because we've got a Logosaurus coming up right now. So when I scanned across and I looked at that, I thought, no, it's not. If you look at this log just over here, you can see it. And from a distance, that yellowish white color looks very much like the underside of a lion. And that's what I saw a very, very quick glimpse of. And I thought, no, it's just a log on the ground. And well, thank goodness David said, no, hey, hang on, I also saw something. And we zoomed in. That's another important thing though, but before you call something out, and I've learned this the hard way by people laughing at me, is have a good look with your binoculars, or zoom in with your camera if you don't have a pair of binoculars, because I cannot tell you how many trees and termite mounds and things are out there that look so much like animals. Luckily it's not too thick here, it's actually quite open, so I think they're probably up here somewhere. Let's keep an eye out for them now. But I think a little bit further down, follow this little route. It's quite nice here. I think if I was a lion, this is a good spot to sleep. I thought I was going to have to do some horrendous off-road driving, but thank goodness it's not too bad out here. There's a little steenbok that jumped out of the bushes. Be careful, there's lions here. Right, I'm just going to double check that I'm in the right spot. The termite mound down that way looks very familiar. Almost. A little bit further forward. But I think I jinxed myself now, as I said that it was easy driving as we sit here facing ourselves with a wall of trees. Oh my goodness, David. Okay, well, there is genuinely a wall of trees in front of us, but I think I can maybe see a little gap. Let's go even further down towards the drainage system, and that's what happens. The closer you go to a drainage system, we've got a termite, not a termite mound, a little hole in the ground there. You will get a lot of trees and sort of vegetation build up along these drainage systems. Are you okay there, David? Squash. Wait. Oh, we're going to have to squeeze through here. Had any parasites on you? Hopefully they got wiped away with the branches I just took you through. Okay. I think we're very close. I don't think we're far away at all. We'll just go nice and slow because we don't want to startle these lions. Okay, I think just a little bit further up ahead. David, maybe I've been... Oh no, that's a nasty one. Are you good? I'm just wondering if maybe I haven't gone a bit too far close to the strain. Okay, we'll try and head a little bit closer. We're going to have to do a 678-point turn. Let me just turn the game drive radio down. That's a bit loud. There's quite a few knob thorns here which have got some nasty thorns on them. No, we need to turn that off because that's very loud. Ah! It got me! I got one. That's the only problem with having no doors. Well, you're not shielded, right, David? Are you ready? So luckily these ones haven't got any thorns on them. These are just bush willows, so it's actually quite nice. David, oh please open up. Thank goodness there's a little gap here. Watch the aerial. Oh. Okay, so there's nothing here, so there must just be up a little bit this side. David, have a look at that little watering hole over there. I'm surprised that those lions went to go and drink water all the way at the dam. And there's a bit of a mud wallow here, and even though it's probably not the greatest, freshest water, the lions would still drink from something like that, so that's quite surprising. Now, Mary Ann, you were wondering, if we go far away from camp, do we take a little preparation kit with us? Like with food and stuff? Not really food, although we've got lots of snackers in camp. So there's always, David loves fruit, he always brings fruit with him. And when you're with VM, occasionally he brings little like energy bars. Oh no, don't scratch me, that's not a nice one. Hang on, get away. I'm just being attacked today. I'm having the most wonderful morning, as you can see. So sometimes we do, but not really. If you go out for a whole day, we always pack extra water and those types of things. And I think it's important if you've got a fast metabolism to always have a piece of fruit or something in the vehicle. If we were to do a full day drive, we'd probably pack some sandwiches or something along the lines of that. But out here, with what we're doing, it's really not that necessary. But with guests, yes, all the time. I always used to have a cooler box in my vehicle, even if I was going back out just for a couple of hours, with some snacks, some waters, some cold drinks, and that type of thing. David, where are these lions? Have we missed them? They really can't be far. Do you think they were maybe on the other side? No? Oh, do you think so? Okay, we'll try and weave through this section then, because we've come... Alright. We're looking. We will get them. See, look, there's another pan over there. It's quite a big mud wallow actually, but it's got a bit of water in. So there's so many options over here for them to come and drink. And there's even another one up in front of us. Alright, let's have a look through here. Nope, nothing yet. Oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on. Somebody is shouting in my ear and I don't know where that's coming from. Did you hear that, David? It must be a game drive. Leons, where are you? We saw them. We didn't imagine them, right, Louise? We did send David. We did see them, hey? Okay, I'm just checking. Let's check the GPS again. Come on. There we go. We're like on top of them. Well, there's lots and lots of open clearings here. We're just scanning very carefully. Now we're on the road. And this is actually exactly where I lost the tracks too. Maybe they're this side. Where are ya? This is proving to be a lot trickier than I thought, David. I thought that we were going to the hard work was going to be to actually try and find the lions. Never mind, now that we spotted them, to actually try and guess where exactly they are. Sorry, David, as you go through those bush willows again. Luckily they're bush willows and not buffalo thorns or knob thorns. What we might have to do in the end, because it is quite thick in here and the shrubs are very long, is when the other guides get going, maybe what we'll do is we'll send them across to the other side of the drainage system and have them look back and then be able to guide us in this way. But they're in here somewhere, but just all the green vegetation looks exactly the same. But it seems as though Herbert's going to come and give us a hand, and maybe he can do that. Maybe he can just stand on the others. Can you see them, Dave? Oh, I think you're right. I think you're right. We have them. Please be that and not a termite mound. It will be so embarrassing if it's a termite mound. Nope, it's the lions. Yay. My goodness, you sneaky sausages. Alright, we're just going to get a nice spot to have a good look. Now this is a bizarre scene. Oh no, there they are. Haha, it's not so bizarre anymore. Hello, Leons. Thank you for giving us the run around and not making it too easy. As we get a death stare from Amber Eyes, the lioness sitting closest to us. Now initially why I said it looked like an odd scene is because as I came around the corner I could just see these two lionesses and the one cub, and you can see the others are tucked away in the distance, and I didn't see them lying around there, but it looks like all 5 lionesses are here, and I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like all 6 cubs are here too. Wonderful. Now I'm just going to call the sighting in very quickly on the radio. Now we shall get to the radio in a moment because that's another interesting story. There we go. But it looks like this lioness closest to us, Amber Eyes, she's got quite a big belly. And we'll have a better look at hopefully the others in a moment. It seems as though they're grooming themselves. They're starting to wake up now. So hopefully the action will just start to begin. But we're going to head on over back across to Brent, who has got a beautiful kudu to show you.
Well, we had some beautiful kudu. They have disappeared into the bush now, but it's good to always know where the kudu are because they are one of the best leopard spotters out here. And they also, when you hear a kudu alarm calling, unlike an impala that sometimes alarms at a shadow, a kudu does not lie. So I've had a good walk. I can find lots of tracks of where the cubs have been playing, but no tracks of where they've gone. So Herbie and FW are out, so they're going to head into that area, which frees us up to check a little bit further to the south and do sort of bigger loops to see if we find any sign of them. Oh, they're the kudus that were hiding in the thickets. Lovely little family group. So they can be our eyes and ears in this area. Look at that. Look at those incredible radar dish ears. So they are so alert. And often, because they spend quite a bit of time in thick bush, they have to be alert, and they rely a lot on their ears. Oh. Okay. So again, we're still keeping up with our very slow speed, making sure we don't miss any tracks. It looks like this cloud will burn off us. It's very low, almost like mist, and you can see the sun fighting through, causing a whiteout in the sky. Oh, always pays to check this area carefully. I would say this is probably on Djuma. This little dry river system ahead of us is the core of Karula's territory, the one that runs from the Treehouse waterhole down to the Mawati. While we look for some cats that are hopefully up and about, let's go back to Taylor with the very fat flat in Nkuhuma's.
You are very right in saying, Brent, that they are flat indeed, but there's a couple of them that have got their heads up and grooming themselves. But we'll have to wait and see what happens, of course. Hopefully the little ones wake up and start to play. One of the lionesses, she's just repositioning now, so she can groom the other half of her body. But it is a very peaceful scene out here this morning. And I'm trying to work out if the others have had something to eat, because it looks like Amber Eyes is quite round. Now, speaking about dear Amber Eyes, you can see she's got a bit of a belly on her this morning. And I know Natasha was wondering if it could be possible that she is pregnant. There's definitely a possibility, but I think it's a little bit too early to say just yet. We'll have to wait for the mammary glands to start swelling. It doesn't look like they're swollen just yet, so maybe she's just eaten something. And I know that earlier Chris had said that the lioness that went to the pan was quite lean, but we've seen it before where some of the members, if they caught something small like an Impala or a Kudu, something not as large as a buffalo, it could definitely be a possibility that one of them missed out and didn't quite get a mouthful and get a meal, and that could be the cause of it. But we'll just sort of have to wait and see until they decide to move or roll over and give us a better view of their undersides. And hopefully that won't be too long. We can get to the bottom of this mystery. However, I am just happy that the Nkuhumas are back home. It has been a long time, since, well, it feels like forever, since they have been back on Djuma. So this is a welcoming surprise. And not far from home either, only a few hundred meters away. Now I'm looking for my favorite little girl, but I suspect that she's all curled up, probably still sleeping. Now we'll go back and we'll have another look at Amber Eyes. Now, Michael, you were wondering if I thought that her nipples were a little bit more pronounced than normal. Well, possibly. It's very difficult to say though, and I also don't want to get anybody too excited and make too many speculations. So we'll just have to wait and see. We'll see what the other lions look like. I think they look pretty normal. From the other afternoon when we saw her sleeping, she rolled over a couple of times, but she was behind some bushes. And she didn't look particularly fat that day, and that was, I think, 2 or 3 afternoons ago. So we really just have to wait and sit it out and see what she looks like when she stands up, or maybe wait another week or 2 and then sort of make a decision. Like I said, I don't know if the others... David, my friend... Ah! It's dropped. So I had a friend that was sitting on top of my hat. I'll put it... Don't you... It's like a clicking beetle, but it's got... Watch it. It's got rather large... Sorry. It doesn't want to stay. Okay, we'll put it on my hat. There it is. It was crawling around. Obviously, I caught it as we went through one of the bushes. There we go. Not happy with me handling it anymore, so it decided to fly away. That's okay, fine. You go and be brave with the lions then. We'll sit here happily. Now, I'm going to have to do a bit of chatting on the radio in a moment, just to guide some of the other guides who are coming into the sighting, because it was a bit tricky. So we'll do that. So let's go back across to Brent, who has got a wonderful wildebeest.
Wonderful indeed. Look at that wonderful silhouette. It's the same wildebeest we saw earlier on, and he was moving in this direction, so obviously he was a thirsty gnu, and he's now made his way towards the treehouse waterhole and is having a drink. Very thirsty gnu. It's always good to sit nice and quietly at this time of the morning. And there we go, you can see where they get the other name, the blue wildebeest or brindled gnu. You can see that brindling on his neck there. Now, we were hoping to hear the snort of an alarm call. That's why we were actually just sitting quietly listening here when he wandered out of the bush. Oh, he's finished his drink now, back up towards the crest for breakfast. Oh, what did you spot? Canoe? No, nothing. Flies. See that leg stamp. Try to keep the biting flies off, his tail swinging to also keep them off. Oopsie. So we're going to be doing a loop now. We're going to check Savage's track up to Shabam Road and then back down here. But if there's no further tracks, I think we might think about heading towards the Mawati River from Twin Dams, driving up from the boundary, making sure that she hasn't gone for a beach holiday in the sand. Hi, Alice in Ohio. Alice would like to know if I think my mom would ever come on a safari with me. Well, Alice, she's been on many safaris with me and with my dad, and when I'm at home I often take her on game drives. Fortunately, they live in a reserve that's got lion, leopard, elephant, wild dog, so she's been on many safaris with me over the years, and she's also one of my main fishing partners. My mother loves fishing, and well, we're a bit busy these days, but when we do get the opportunity, we do fishing competitions in Zambia, and Namibia, and Botswana together. Okay. Now, although my dad and I have a great yearning for the great unknown. Oh, are you gonna run? Oh, he's off. He always. Little Stenborgie. And my mom calls them our missions. She can get quite angry when my dad and I decide to do a mission. We don't like to give up either. And quite often, somewhere along said mission, we get stuck, sunburnt, or run out of petrol sometimes, but it's always good fun. Mom doesn't think it's as much fun as we do though. Hello, yellow bird. Yellow bird's wondering what kind of fish would we fish for. Well, any fish will do, but generally when we go up to those competitions and stuff, it's a species competition, so you've got to catch a whole bunch of different species, but the main two species that are worth the most points is a fish called a Nembwe, Nembwe. It's a Sarinchromis species, which is a large-mouthed bream, and Sarinchromis robusta is its name. and that is one of the target species, as well as tigerfish, which have got massive sharp teeth and red fins and a stripy body, silver and black stripes. Very, very beautiful fish, very, very, very fierce fish, a predatory fish. They actually have a anticoagulant on their teeth, so when they bite stuff it just continues to bleed, and that's one of the ways they feed. And the other is the catfish, Carinus charybdis, that we lazy walking impala. I thought it was a drag mark. And so we got that, and then the other tilapia species make up one of the other species, as well as squeakers and other different species. But in South Africa, we fish for yellowfish and trout if you're up in the mountains, in yellowfish, and of course we've also got a wonderful coastline. So at the coast, GTs, giant trevally, what else? All the trevally species actually, marlin, sailfish, snapper. I have a whole almost room full of fishing equipment depending on where I need to go. Okay, so still no sign of Queen Cruda. I've asked Herbie and FW to go into that area where the cubs last were and have a poke around for a bit of an extended period. But while we keep checking for our wonderful Queen of Djuma, Karula, let's go back to the other big cat stars, the Nkuhumas.
Now you can see this lioness, she's very much licking in the same spot, and we notice she has a small wound on her leg, and you can just start to see it now. It's not a serious wound, it almost just looks like it's a graze of some sort. Now she's licking it to keep it nice and clean, but I don't know what's happened here. It could have been from when they did take down that buffalo at Arathusa. That could be a possibility. I'm not sure, but it's not bad. It's just she's just taken the hair and a little bit of skin off of her leg, but she'll be fine. It's probably a bit more annoying than really anything, and you know what it's like if you graze your leg on the carpet. It burns really badly, but she will be fine. Now, I don't know how much of the carcass was left yesterday when Evia was with the lions, but I suspect that their bellies are, well, I suppose on the full side, maybe from feeding on the last of their carcass, because we had a look at one of the other lionesses, and they're not bulging, but they're definitely not, they're not thin. So maybe there was one lioness that wasn't feeling up to it and didn't quite finish the carcass with the rest of the group. But most of them seem to have bellies that, well, are decent sizes. She's looking very, very carefully. Thank goodness we don't have to lick our feet. When we have an injury, we can just go to the doctor or put some antiseptic on and do all that work ourselves. I don't know how I would quite feel if that's how we had to take care of our wounds. But you can see there's lots of flies hanging around. I'm sure she'll just give it a good clean, and then she'll probably go straight back to sleep. It actually doesn't look like these lions are going to do too much moving around. I think we missed them, and they were moving throughout the early hours of the morning, and maybe even started walking late last night. You can see the others also giving themselves a good groom. Now, normally when they start to groom themselves like this, it's an indicator that they're going to get up. But I suspect that it's the opposite, that they've had a long walk, they've eaten the buffalo, maybe they didn't quite groom themselves as well before they left Arathusa, and while now they've come back to their home, they've settled down, having a last groom, washing their faces and their hands, putting all their different lotions and creams on, their eye creams, and well, then they're probably going to go back to bed soon. So they'll have to add one of those eye masks that block out all the sunlight. I don't know if I could sleep during the middle of the day. Hello, beautiful girl. But you can see she's not thin either. She's got a little bit of a belly on her. Hello, Dury from South Carolina. Now, let me put this down. You were wondering if I managed to see the footage of FW and, of course, the chameleon in the lion's mane. I did. I just finished a walk and I was sitting in final control with absolute envy. It was quite amazing, and I wonder if that little chameleon is probably still hiding away in its mane. Wouldn't that be funny if we found him full again and outcrawled his pet chameleon? I think it's a good spot to be in there. I'm sure there's all sorts of parasites and insects that little chameleon could probably munch on, and it'd be a lovely nutritious snack. But that's unusual. I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again. That was a once in a lifetime sighting, so I'm so happy for him that he was able to see something like that, because now I've put that on my bucket list. If I'll get to see it, I'm not sure. I'll just have to keep guiding for a little bit longer and see if one day I manage to see something along those lines. Now, I actually, just before you came back to us, I was speaking to Taxon, and I asked Taxon if he'd seen any sign of the Birmingham boys, and I actually got an interesting response from him. He said that he thought he heard one of the Birminghams this morning. Oh, I'm just going to turn the game drive radio down, I apologize. So, there's one around. I don't know who it is, most likely Mfumo. He seems to hang around, of course, all these beautiful lionesses the most. And, you know, you can go weeks and weeks that these boys will go off on territorial patrols. We don't really know what's happening on the other properties. Maybe they encountered another group of male lions. We're not sure. But I think they'll be back eventually. I mean, now that the girls are coming back, I think we'll be fine. Sure, she's been through the wars. Look on her left, her elbow. It's like she's had a bit of a knock as well. You can see a bit of swelling. Now, I used to always see this on my horses' hocks from when they'd been kicking in the stable. They used to get a bit of fluid build-up, but not anything that would cause sort of lameness. It's just more of an irritation, I suppose, and with a bit of ice. Not that this lion has access to ice, but something like that would make it disappear quite quickly. But she's battered and bruised. But then nothing really looks too fresh, so perhaps this all happened when they were on Arathusa. Hello, girl, are you tired? She looks exhausted. And hopefully Amber Eyes will be the next one. I think she may be. It looks like she just did a little bit of a yawn. So let's see if she's going to follow this other lioness and get up and move a little bit closer to the rest of the pride. Having a good scratch, up she gets. Hello, beautiful girl. You see, they're not too fat. No, I think that their bellies are just a little bit sort of bulging because of all the buffalo they've been eating recently. Now, we'll hang around with the Nkuhumas for a little bit longer, but I suspect they're going to sleep for most of the morning. But Evie's just woken up, he's changed out of his pajamas, and he's ready to start the day on the walk.
Good morning, everyone. What a lovely morning for a bushwalk. Nice and overcast conditions. A little bit extra protection from the hot, low-felt sun. We've had some Franklin alarm calling in the area that we're in at the moment. We might get lucky and find a predator or something. They are sitting in a tree, so it might give us the idea that it's a ground-dwelling predator. Let's keep moving and see if we can find anything. There's a little flower here. We did it
today, but I've found some interesting information on this. If you look closely, we've got 1, 2, 3 leaves of the flower, and apparently it comes from the family of botanists that first recorded these guys. It's called a commelina, a blue commelina, and the people that founded, their surname were Commelin. So 2 of the 3 brothers became renowned botanists, and these 2 big petals, I suppose, present them. And then this little one at the bottom, it's kind of a clear color, presents the 3rd brother, who unfortunately passed away at a young age and didn't have the chance to become a renowned botanist. So just something to add on to our Commelina, or the wandering Jew. Let's keep moving. Let's see what is still out here. Folks, while we keep looking for a possible predator in our area, we're going to head over to Brent with some cat tracks.
Oh, welcome back, everyone. I've got some terrible news. Terrible. So that is Karula, and there she is crossing our southern boundary. If we go forward a slight bit, firm, thanks Mike. If we go forward a tiny bit, you got to look very carefully here. Okay. So looking very carefully. There are the beautiful little tracks of Shongile. Oh, lions calling to the south of us as well. So there's Shongile, and even harder to see because of where he walked, so I want to stand on them. There is Hosanna. Got him, Vim? So there, let me just do this quickly. It's going to be a bit easier. So if I draw, there is the back of the pad, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's the rest of the pad there. So there is little Hosanna going across, and there's little Shongile and Krula. So the whole royal family has vacated the premises. Darn. Okay, we're going to carry on. I can hear a lion roaring. It sounds like, unfortunately, he isn't. Chitwa would be my guess. Sounds like a male, probably one of the Birmingham boys. Hopefully, the Nkuhumas decide to respond while Taylor's sitting right next to them. Now where to, Vim? There's a bug on my dash. Oh, it's this bug that keeps haunting me because I haven't been able to find it in any of my insect books. It's a beetle. It's not a dung beetle, but it's a very well armored beetle. Is that a little mite on him as well? What is that little grey thing on his side? So there are even parasites on the little insects out here. So it is incredible that for everything there is a parasite, and obviously we see the ticks on the bigger animals, but you can see ticks on black mambas, on tortoises, and you can see mites on all the different little critters that are out here. Now, we're going to keep moving. We're going to try to figure out where we're going to go next, as our plan has been thwarted by the leopards crossing our southern boundary. So while we do that, let's go back to the incredible Nkuhumas.
what a pity that those leopards disappeared out of our traverse, but hopefully they won't be gone for too long. And sadly, we're also not going to be able to stay with the Nkuhumas for too much longer, because there are quite a few people who would absolutely love to come and see them. But you can see, I don't think we're going to miss out on too much. And if there's an opportunity to, we will try and pop back in again a little bit later. Maybe they decide to move around then. But I think it is going to be a scorcher of a day. And they'll probably move around a little bit, not too much, maybe just to find a better source of shade. But for now, they're quite content. And I found my floppy-eared girl. There she is, suckling away, also fast asleep. She's not even twitching an ear when one of the vehicles repositions. She's enjoying her breakfast. And she actually has the right to still be suckling, because she's only about 5 months old now. But those other cubs, the other 3 older ones that are about 7 months old now, they are so cheeky that they're still trying to suckle. And I think out of all the cubs, those 3 are the 3 that suckle the most. But David and I were chatting about what a survivor and what a fighter our favourite little girl is. And I hope she manages to beat off this mange. And I think she will. I think especially now that we've had the rain, the quality of the grasses and all those things are going to start to improve. I think that now the chances are in her favour. And I think with her feisty personality, she doesn't let anything stop her. What a lovely girl. Now, Marianne, you were wondering how old are the cubs generally when they're allowed to go on the hunt. Typically, we start to see them at about 1.5 years or so, joining in on the hunts, where they're sitting and observing, maybe even as young as about 1 year old. They'll be taken with, but then they have to sit off in the distance and sort of watch. But at 1.5 years, they're not going to be too much help, and I always say this, is because they get too excited. They have not mastered the art of patience, which takes a long time. I'm still learning about patience, and I'm 24. So I think that these little cubs have got a long way to go still. So they sit there and they watch and they get excited and they chase the animal off after the adults had been stalking for the past 2 hours, and they ruin the entire hunt and they've got to start again. But that's all part of the learning process. Or you never know, maybe one of them poking their heads up before they should surprises the animal runs straight into the direction where the adults are laying. So it could work in their favour, taking them out on hunts. But they've definitely got a head start. That sighting we had right near the dam cam about a month or so ago with the little ones jumping on a baby buffalo while it was still alive, and as sad as what it was, that's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. And I don't think it's a common thing for tiny little lion cubs like the ones that we were looking at to be able to have a first-hand experience on how to take down a buffalo. Not once it's already passed on, but one that was actually still alive, and a small one too. Remember, we watched as one of the young cubs wiggled its bum and then pounced onto the back of that young buffalo calf as it was standing up, just like the adults would, and then practiced the balancing act. So all that tree climbing that we've watched them do, that really has done them good and is helping them prepare for adulthood. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to have to pull out now. We're going to have to give a couple of other vehicles a chance. I'm going to call one of the other guides in now. But like I said, they're not doing too much. They're very much relaxed. We know where they are. I suspect that the sightings will probably move through quite quickly because they are fast asleep. And we will pop back here and we'll come and have another look. But let's go back across to Evia and see if he's made any sense of those alarm calls.
We have found a bit of evidence on why this crested francolin was alarm calling. A couple of feathers on the ground. There are no apparent tracks to give us exactly who it was that caught their poor friend, but yeah, the plot just thickens. There's a whole host of possibilities. A bird of prey, could have been some of the smaller cats that might have come past here and caught one when it was still roosting in the tree, resting for the night. I'm not 100% sure, but at least we found the source. We're complaining. Let's move on. Let's see if we can find anything else in this area of interest. Ooh. All these funny looking straight plants we are walking through are called black monkey oranges. Fruits are edible. You can imagine it looking exactly like an orange with an exceptionally hard shell. You can break open the shell, dig out the fruit and eat it. Apparently it doesn't taste great, but it is edible. Another thing you could use with the shell is decorations. You make a little hole in the fruit, dig out all the fruit, let it dry out. You can paint it, you can scratch in it and engrave it to an extent. And some of the local people also use them to make musical instruments with whistles and stuff. I haven't seen any fruits around. If we do come across one, I'll definitely show that to you. Another interesting plant is the baboon's tail. Another name for it is a black stick lily. Normally, if they don't have those green leaves and you come past them, you'd think dead plant, there's nothing to it anymore. After a bit of rain, they make beautiful little purple flowers as well. One thing we can use it for is to carry around fire. So you break open one of these branches or stems, break it open, it's very fibrous, and you put a little coal in there, close it up, put it in your backpack, and you keep moving with it. That is how the Bushmen used to do it as well, to move from one place to the next. When you get to the next place, you get a bit of grass and small twigs, get that coal going into flames again, and you set for the night. You'll have a safer night out in the bush. Chris, good morning. You are asking if any of the guides carry whistles. I don't know of anyone that does, and I haven't carried a whistle at all. I don't think it is maybe they need it out here. Places that you do go, in some of the wilderness places that you do go, I don't think a whistle is going to get anyone's attention. Some of those places are so remote that you only can use a satellite phone or radio communications to get to help, and help is normally quite far away as well. So whistles, I don't think out here and with what we do is going to be the ideal thing to use. JT, you are asking what is in my backpack. Water. I've got about 1 liter of water. I've got a first aid kit. I've got some reference books, and I've got some tracking charts. That is the most things that I'd need out here for the time that I spent out in the bush at the moment. If it was for a longer period, there would be a lot more stuff in a much bigger backpack. Tents maybe, sleeping bags, food for a couple of days, and in wilderness areas, when you find water, you dig for water or you drink from rivers. So water purification is also very important to take with you. You could use a live straw, you could use chlorine tablets, or you get a little blue mixture of different metals that clean the water and keep you safe from any bad diseases carried in water. Mike, you are asking about the baboon's tail and if it could grow in a pot. I think it would be able to. I think you could give it a shot and see if it works. Definitely a chance to take. Yeah, why not? Here's a bit of termites that are eating this old dead tree. You can see how they cover themselves and protect themselves, so they'll be moving on the inside. A bit further up you can see where they've been scraping off some of the wood and eating there, taking that back to their mound. A fire here a long time ago. You can see at the bottom, at the base of the log, there's a bit of fire damage here. Must have been a while ago though, nothing recent. Folks, let's keep moving. Let's see what else wants to show themselves this morning. There's lions roaring quite far out. I wonder if that's not the Birmingham boys that are calling. While we keep moving and seeing if we can get any closer to them or see what else we can find, we're going to head over to Taylor with a bird of prey and a surprise.
We had a martial eagle eating. Let me turn this radio down very quickly. Sorry, we did have a martial eagle eating looked like a rock monitor, a young rock monitor. But unfortunately it's flown away. We'll see if we can find it again. But I suspect it's gone into this big block in the drainage system, sort of just north of where the lions were laying. Yeah, no, I think it's gone, unfortunately. Oh, sneaky birds. That's the problem with birds, is that they don't really hang around for too long. They sort of just poke their noses out, and once they see that they've been spotted by the camera, off they go. I don't think I've ever really got a decent photo of a martial eagle before. But what we're going to go and do now is, remember Taxon told me he thought he'd heard a male lion calling last night, and it sounded like it was on about the eastern side of the lodge. So we're going to go back towards that area and see if we can't maybe pick up on any tracks, and well, hopefully we'll pick up on some form of a sign that there is a male lion around, and then we will try and follow up on him. We'll just give one more scan as we go through here to see if that martial eagle is not perhaps sitting on the top of a tree somewhere. Maybe we get lucky. Maybe today's our day. I think there it is. I think so. Just trying to figure out. Let me go back. I could also be making things up. My eyes are not working very well this morning. So David, there's a big dead tree. Can you see where I'm looking? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, zoom in and go up to the right. There it is. Can you see it? There it is. But you can only see its legs at the moment. Let me see if I can roll back. Oh, one more touch. I'm going to have to start up for this. Sorry, that shake was me. There we go. No, a little. There. This is a difficult one to hold. But there is the beautiful Marshall eagle. I'm surprised we managed to get another view of it. And like I said, it was eating what looked to be like a rock monitor lizard. It could have also been a girdled lizard, but it was from a distance. It just had a very long, thin tail, like the monitor lizards do have. Let's see if it's going to eat anything. Well, this is one of the largest eagles that we see. They are massive birds and very, very easy to identify. I don't think there's really anything you can get a Marshall eagle confused with because of the beautiful dark chocolate brown that they have all over their wings and their head, and then of course the long white legs and chest that is covered with brown speckles. You can see as it flaps its wing up. You can see those little speckles that I was telling you about. And these eagles are incredible. They can take down Impala lambs, steenbok, maybe even a young common duiker. So a lizard would have been not a problem for this bird. This would just be a nice little snack. Hello, beautiful. And aren't they the most incredible golden eyes that you've ever seen? They are so lovely. And also big eyes positioned right in the front of the head. Oh, there we go. You can see the now you can see that it... Oh. I'm so sorry. I'm picking up a radio frequency from I'm not sure where. I need to try and... Maybe it's the analog radio that's playing games with me, but every now and then I get a high-pitched noise. Here it flies. Now you could definitely see that it was a rock monitor with its long tail. Come closer to us. Where have you gone? And I think it has landed probably in a tree somewhere in that thicket. But wasn't that incredible just to have a very, very quick glance at one of the most elegant eagles that we have in this area? And well, it was also nice to see that it had a bit of breakfast too. My goodness. David, how do I turn this off? Sorry, we need to just sort something out here. I've got another radio channel shouting in my ear. Which one can I turn? Which is the analog? I can't even hear Louise anymore. Okay, I can't. Right, sorry, we need to just sort something out desperately, as I've got unknown radio coming into my ear, but it's so loud. It sounds like somebody has turned the TV up to full volume, and then... Right. Fantastic, thank you, David. I can't hear anything through my earpiece at the moment, but I'm going to send you back across very quickly to Evia, and well, let's see what else is happening out there.
Folks, we've moved on a little bit, and in the distance in front of us there's an old buffalo carcass. Let's go and inspect that, see what we can tell from there, and then we'll keep going, keep seeing. Herbert says there's some pans in the area. Maybe we'll find some nice tracks or something coming for a drink. It's heating up quite quickly. The cloud cover we had is burning away very quickly, so it's getting nice and sticky out here in the bush. Malia, you are asking why I'm carrying my stick. It is something to keep my hands busy with, first of all, and it's also nice to point things out that I might not be able to get to physically, something that's in a bush or high up. It's easier to point things out, and also with bones and stuff like that, you don't always want to touch them. Especially on a carcass like this, I would not start picking up bones, and it would be nice with a stick to just point things out. This looks like it was a female buffalo. We can look at the head here and see why. If you look at the skull here at the top, It doesn't have that big boss what the males would have, and there would have been hair and skin on the top here when she was still alive. Something quite interesting here. We've got a toe bone, basically. This is the bone that goes into the hoof of the animal, attaches to the hoof, and that is what they are walking on. So what we can gather here, these animals that are walking on their hooves are basically walking on their toes. Quite a gory sight with all the little creatures running over this thing and busy decomposing it, eating the last bits and pieces of it. It doesn't look like there's been much predator on this carcass. It must have died during drought where the lions had a lot of options for food. It only looks like the hindquarters were really eaten. The rest look relatively intact still. Just in this area you can see a lot of skin was taken off. I'm glad it's quite old and it doesn't smell too bad. Otherwise I wouldn't have been able to stand around it like this. Would have been rough. Well, let's keep moving. Let's see what those pans have in store for us. Lindsay, you're asking what is my most memorable bushwalk encounter. It was on a backpack trail in the Kruger National Park. It's called the Lonely Bull Backpack Trail. It's on the Leopard River. And we're walking early morning, walked for a couple of hours, and then we took a break. This beautiful setting on the river, and a Cape Clawless otter came through the reeds into this little pool in front of us, swam over the pool and started playing at our feet, basically just playing around for maybe 10 minutes or so, and then went on with his day. It is an animal that's not seen very often, so it was really special to have such a close encounter with an animal like that. What a privilege. I wonder, let's have a look here. Folks, while we keep moving to those pans in front of us, we're going to head over to Brent for an update, see what he's got on Cheetah plains.
We've made our way down to an area of Cheetah Plains I haven't been in many moons. We're right on the western boundary, approaching the southern boundary. And I was on my way down here yesterday morning when we got the call about those cheetah. So I decided, since Korea has vacated, by the way, they have found them on Little Gowrie. So they are there, both cubs still together with mom. But we're going to keep moving. Oh, there's a candy striped crinum lily. It hasn't quite opened yet though. There we go, right in the middle of the road. So very beautiful, and they don't flower for too long, but that one hasn't opened yet. Okay, so